Hello and welcome to H&L Classics. Today we're going to show you around this beautiful 1991 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL24 R129. You would have seen this car in some of our videos. We have restored this car pretty extensively over several years, and you might think that yes, it's pretty much in perfect condition. And today we're going to show you all the things that are broken on this car. And by broken we mean things that are still on our list to fix, except for maybe a few that we could probably tolerate for just a little bit more. So let's start off in the front. This car came with headlamp wipers as an option, and as you can see, they don't quite stick to the headlamps. It's only due to the hose that's still connecting it that is making it sit flush. Otherwise the spring is completely disconnected. Same thing here. It's a little bit tighter than the other one. It's a small spring. You could probably still source for that. Not entirely urgent at this point in time. The next thing that's broken on this car is under the hood. We'll just pop it open for a bit. This engine bay needs some detailing and a clean. It's rather dirty, and this is the result of a coolant leak that was just repaired with a new expansion tank. Now this is the windshield washer fluid, and you can see that the plastic is completely brittle. This has all broken off. There used to be a strap that connected this cap to here. It's also broken off, and this is pretty much impossible to detail and clean. A new replacement is in order, but we'll probably wait for this to disintegrate a little bit further before we decide to replace it. The next thing that's broken under the hood is this insulation here. It's all come off, and the VIN, it's exposed because all this has become brittle and disintegrated and it's about to all fall off. Replacement is the only solution to this, unfortunately. All parts are still available, and it's going to be ordered pretty soon. So we'll give that a close. Now the next thing that's broken, some callousness here, door dings on the side, can be repaired, which would involve a respray on the entire door panel. And this was because of callousness, nothing else. Next thing on the list, guess what? There are cracks in the plastics. No surprise. This is something that we'll need to touch up in due course. And of course the side bolsters worn out, and unless you're absolutely careful every time you get into this car, it is quite low and the bolsters do sit out, and these are really wide doors, makes for an awkward entry and exit. With enough patience it can be touched up as well. Other cosmetic issues include this. It's got torn apart and scraped. No biggie, can be resolved. Moving on to the trunk. Nothing much is really broken in here except for this, if you can consider it broken. This is a wind deflector cover, and inside it there is an aftermarket wind deflector that we procured. However, it's for the wrong year. This wind deflector is for the facelifted version 1995 and above, where the fuse box cover looks different. This is completely flat. The notch here allows for the fuse box cover for the new versions. The correct version of the wind deflector for this car should be pretty flush here. And well, I suppose we could live with that for a while. For a while, we think. More things that are broken here. This left vent is completely disintegrating on the inside. It doesn't quite move the vents on the inner area. Can't be repaired. It's completely brittle on the inside. Replacement is necessary. Likewise, these vents are pretty icky. It's held down by a little bit of glue, but we've got the spare part for this to replace. And now, the dashboard. This is a bulge that cannot be put down. And because of this bulge, as you can see here, it's causing this piece to have difficulty opening. Other than that, the innards of this dashboard, there's a plastic frame on the inside that holds the sunglass compartment, this lock, as well as this center air conditioning vent. That piece, it's also gotten brittle and broken. As a result, this whole assembly is pretty loose, right? It's been held together and repaired a few times. However, the only permanent solution is a complete dashboard replacement. The other thing that's broken on the interior of this car, which is not seen, is that this dial does not work anymore. Because the vents are controlled by vacuum, it is prone to leakages over time. And there are a number of actuators behind the dashboard that control the airflow to the vents, and you could either repair each of them individually, but we took the practical and cheaper solution to bypass all of that, such that the air only blows from the center vents and the side vents, not from the bottom, not from the top. So we've completely bypassed that system. It's worked flawlessly for years, but the downside is you lose the functionality of the vent controls here. Are we planning to fix that? No. Something that, one of the few things that we'll leave broken on this car. So moving on to the driver's side here, there is one thing on this instrument cluster that doesn't quite work, and that is the adjustment for the clock. Left, right, nothing moves, nothing adjusts. The clock works, however, so adjusting the clock is still possible, and that is you either disconnect the fuse to the instrument cluster or disconnect the battery altogether based on where the clock is. And at the right time, you just reconnect everything at the right time, and it'll work smoothly until the battery gets disconnected again, that is. So another thing that's broken on our R129 is this. So parking lights, all good. High beams, all good. Fog lamps, all good. Rear fog lamps, ta-da! Now it's not because the bulb is blown, it's because in the rear of this R129 there is no socket for the rear fog lamp bulb. Why is that? It's because at one point in time when we restored this car, we installed the rear tail lights coming from a left-hand drive car. Now this car, obviously you can see, is a right-hand drive, and because we did not swap the mechanism in the rear, this car does have a rear fog lamp bulb on the left side but not on the right side. So the only way to resolve this is either number one, you rewire the car, or number two, we reinstall the interior housing for the rear tail light bulbs and resolve this. Small issue, but right now this car does not have a rear fog light. Other minor niggly cosmetic issues that are still broken. The vinyl on the headliner is off. This could likely be patched up. Not so much of an issue. Now, speaking of the headliner, there's an issue with this one, and we'll show you. Let's start her up. And let's close up the roof. Now, before that, there's also an issue with the roof, and we'll show you. Take a look. All good, until boom! That shouldn't happen that way. Now, the roof mechanism, when it goes down, it should pause a bit before moving down. Right? But this one, the valve body is likely faulty, one of them at least. It's not giving enough pressure to the system on this sequence, and it just slams down just like that. It does latch though. The rest of it actuates perfectly well. Now, the issue with this headliner, if you can see, there is a bit of a patch. It's a bit dark, but you can see clearly that there's a stain, and that is either hydraulic or watermarks, we don't know, but it can't come off. And the only solution is replacement of this entire headliner. Now, the last thing that we'd like to show you that's broken on this car is this. And this would have to thank a wonderful neighborhood cat for scratching the canvas of this. It can be shaven off with lint remover or lint shaver of sorts, and you go back down. We've just not had the time to do it. But if anyone has an idea of how to prevent the cats from really loving the canvas top and sleeping on top of the canvas top, do let us know in the comments below. We'd be happy to try out some hopefully humane suggestions on how to take care of our little cat problem. Hope you enjoyed that video. So welcome to our world of restoration, where a lot of the little things that we look at really annoys the hell out of us, and we try our best to go as much as possible to fix them and to restore them one by one, bit by bit, and to bring these cars back to as good as new condition as practical. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us a lot. And it also lets us know that you do like the content that we produce, and it motivates us to produce more of this for you. In the meantime, stay safe, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.